Hey, this is Mitch from Castro Valley Fitness with this week's Friday workout. Hope everyone's doing okay. This one's going to build a little bit off of what we started last week with our strength work. We're going to do some strength work today, but it's going to be a little different. So let me get a couple things set up and I will explain everything to you. All right, so today, last week we did some squats, we did some push-ups. Those were phenomenal strength building exercises. Today we're going to do those same things, but we're going to change it up a little bit. So we're going to introduce what we call tempo work. So when you introduce tempo work strategically within your programming, what tempo work is it basically is you're doing the same movement, but you're doing it with a particular tempo. So you're doing it much slower usually is how we like to classify it. So by doing this, it allows you to kind of do a number of different things depending on why you're trying to use it. So one thing is it allows you to feel like you're lifting a much heavier weight when you're not having to lift quite as heavy a weight. A good example of that is one of our members here who can squat well over 400 pounds is doing tempo squats at home because he doesn't have 400 pounds at home. He's doing tempo squats with about 30 or 35 pound dumbbells, and he's getting knocked out at about rep 6 or 7 a lot of the time. So if you do them right, it really helps you feel that, feel a lot more load on you. The other thing that it does is it really helps you iron out your technique. So it allows you to feel each part of the movement. So if you are someone who is not really paying attention to your movement or to how things feel, then you're really missing a huge piece of the puzzle. So in other words, if your trainer is giving you the same cues every time you're doing specific exercises, take a second, think about what they're telling you to do, feel it, okay? It's not about seeing it, it's about feeling it. So, and tempo work generally can help you with that. So what we're going to start off with is tempo squats. So notice if you can go barefoot, it is generally a little better because you can really feel the ground. And I want you to be able to do that. So I'm going to break this down to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to get into a regular squat stance, whatever that may be for you. And I want you to get really active from the ground up. I'll say this: get active with your feet, grab the floor. So I want to think about like a tripod. I want to think heel, big toe, little toe. Grab the floor. And then I'm going to try to pull the floor apart. So if I'm standing on a piece of paper, I'm trying to rip the piece of paper apart with my feet, okay? Just by doing that, you can kind of see. If you see my leg position when I'm relaxed, this is kind of how I'm standing. I grab the floor and I pull it apart. You can kind of see how the tension already kind of looks. You can see the tension building. I can really feel it in my hips. I can really feel it in my glutes before I'm even doing anything. That's what we want to do. When we're doing tempo work, we want to think of it as we are pulling ourselves down. We're not just resisting going down, we're actively pulling ourselves down. I'm pulling myself down by pushing my hips back and pushing my knees apart as I grab the floor. That's where the tension's coming from. I'm going to hold down here for 1, 2, I'm going to come back up. So you can think of it as like 3 seconds down or whatever. All I think about it is I'm going down as slow as I can, and I'm trying to build tension the whole time through my core and through my hips, okay? So to see it from the side, so you can kind of see what my hips are doing. I'm grabbing the floor, pulling the floor apart. So you see how my hips kind of lock in here. Eyes straight ahead. So find a spot just about eye level. Look at that spot. Do not take your eyes off of that spot. Pushing my hips back, pushing my knees out, slow, and then back up, okay? Back up at a moderate tempo, something like that. You don't have to go back up quite as slow, although that can add even a little more fun to the tempo work. So, if you're not used to these, you don't need a lot of weight, okay? So, very little, as a matter of fact. So you can use kind of whatever you happen to have around the house. You have a dumbbell, a couple of kettlebells, that's fine. I'm going to just show you what it would look like with a couple of dumbbells. Right here, if you only have one dumbbell, again, perfectly fine. Hold it like this. A gallon of milk it can help you here. A couple of gallons, one in each hand. A gallon of milk's about 8 or 9 pounds. Again, you do not need a lot of weight on here to really feel it if you are doing it correctly. You should be able to really feel this. So grab it, grab the floor with your feet, pull that floor apart. I am not resisting going down. I'm actively pulling myself down. Hold, back up. Okay? Try to do 3 sets of somewhere between 6 or 8. Once you feel like you cannot hold that tension, that's the end of the set. Okay? So we want to hold that tension all the way down. After that, we're going to go tempo push-ups, okay? So you might need, if you have trouble doing push-ups on the floor at a regular tempo, you might need to bring your hands up, do them on a table, a chair, a bench, whatever. I'll show you on the floor. But what I want you to think about here is, like I was telling you to grab the floor with your feet on the squat, I want you to grab the floor with your hands now on the push-up. When we're pulling ourselves down, we're actively pulling back here. So again, I am grabbing the floor with my hands. Probably get a better angle here. You see that? Yes, you can. Grab the floor with my hand, pull the floor apart. So if you see what happens, there are my arms. If I'm relaxed here, that's where I am. Once I grab the floor, pull it apart, you can kind of see that tension building in my arms. I am now feeling tension in my lats right here, which is exactly where I want to feel it. I'm going to get into this position here, get the tension in my lats, set my core. Remember, say this a million times, push-ups are a core exercise first. If the core is not locked in on your push-ups are going to be sloppy. They are probably going to hurt your shoulders or your back, or both. You don't want that. So grab the floor, pull it apart, and again, I'm pulling myself down by pulling that floor apart, keeping everything steady, everything in a straight line, holding here, pushing back up. Pull it apart, back up, okay? So another thing that tempo work allows you to do is really refine your technique. So when there's a heavy weight on your back, something that would feel kind of, really heavy, it's really hard to pick apart each part of the movement, kind of see where things lie, kind of organize yourself into how things feel, because there's a lot going on. When you do tempo work, because it's you're kind of approximating that, but it's not real, then it allows you to really pick apart your technique a little bit better. You can kind of allow that slowness to kind of see, okay, I'm moving my hips back, I'm pushing my knees out. It allows you to really think through each step of the movement, and really allows you to feel, even more important, feel each step of the movement, feel your weight distribution on your feet or on your hands, and kind of get used to that. And then you can apply that to when you go back to the regular tempo with your work. So that's also a really important thing to think about with your tempo work. So let's move on. Okay, so from there, we're going to go to a one-arm dumbbell row. Now you can use a dumbbell if you have one. You can use like a milk jug or even a backpack or something like that if you have one. If you have a backpack or something that you can't hold with one arm, you would do this with two arms. But we're only going to, I'll show you how to do it with one arm. So grab a dumbbell. What you're going to do is probably a wall or a desk is just fine. We're going to lean kind of up against it. So what I want you to do is stand up nice and tall. The side with the weight, that leg is going to take a big step back. Okay? Take this arm, lean against that wall, desk, chair, whatever, at a good position. Notice I'm keeping my body at about a 45-degree angle and I'm not collapsing. I'm keeping my back straight, I'm not rounding over, and I'm going to row that weight back. So, right through there. So notice when I pull back here, I'm pulling back, starting the movement with my lats. Very similar to how my tempo push-ups are starting. Kind of activating those lats and then pulling them back. Same kind of starting movement here, okay? So notice the difference in the movement if I'm using my lats to pull back, like this, or if I'm using my arm. So notice what's happening. With my arm, this is the position I'm ending up in, okay? With my lat, boom. This is the position I'm ending up in. So you want to use your lat, not your arm. You do not want to feel this up here, in the front of your shoulder. All of those are things that are giving a signal that you're not using the right muscles there, okay? We want to feel this kind of through here. You might feel actually a little bit in your core as well, okay? So we're going to do that on each leg. If you only have something you can do with two hands, like a backpack or something, then you would set up in this position here, and then just pull that way. After that, we're going to go step-ups. So if you have a step, you got maybe a stack of books or something like that. What you're going to do is one foot stays on the step. You're going to come up, boom, finish it off, come back down. Notice I'm getting my hip all the way through. Sometimes people just kind of do this. We don't want that. I want you to come up all the way, stand up nice and tall, come back down. So do reps on both sides. We're going to go somewhere about 10 to 12 reps with each of those exercises on each arm and each foot. Then we're going to finish up with what we call dead bugs. So what we're going to do here is just kind of getting a little back into some of that tempo kind of work, but we're going to do this with our breathing, okay? Very important here. So what I'm going to do is lie on the ground, through here, hands straight, hips, knees at 90-degree angle. I'm going to push my low back into the ground just a little bit. I don't have to overdo it, just a little bit. By doing that, I'm going to feel my core start to activate a little bit. I'm going to extend opposite arm and leg straight back. So in this case, I'm going to go right leg, left arm. Right leg, left arm. Straight back. Nice long breath. When I extend back, I'm concentrating on my position in my low back on the floor. I do not want that to move. I do not want to get into more of an extended position, which is what my body wants to do. Come back to the center, then the other side. Come back to the center. The longer you can breathe there, the more you're going to get out of it. Sometimes when people first start these, all they're doing is they're waving their arms and their legs in the air. They don't feel much. When you work that breathing in and you work that kind of tempo in, then you get really what you want out of it, okay? So take that long breath. We're going to go about 5 or 6 reps on each side with the dead bug, okay? Okay, by the way, those last 3 exercises we're going to do in a circuit fashion. So do the rows, then the step-ups, then the dead bugs, take a short break, go back. 3 sets there, okay? What we're going to finish up with is what we call 3-position toe raise. So this is a really good exercise for a couple things. First of all, really nice for your calves. Second thing is it helps actually kind of helps with your hips and your glutes a little bit too. Hard to explain why, but you'll feel it. So what we're going to do here is, you're not going to see my feet. What I want to do, I'm going to set up 3 positions. First position is kind of pigeon-toed, okay? So what I'm going to do is I just want to hold on to something. I'm standing next to the rack. I'm just going to hold. It doesn't have to be much, but what I want to make sure is that I'm not kind of shifting back and forth. I want to stay nice and balanced. And all I'm going to do is push off my big toe, come straight up, back down. Straight up, back down. So 10 reps there. I'm going to straighten my feet out. Big toe again, pushing off my big toe. 10 reps there. Then turn my feet out. Again, push off my big toe. 10 reps there. Okay? So we're going to do 3 sets of those. Okay? So that's how we're going to finish up. All right? So if you have any questions, let me know. That's this Friday's workout. Really nice one. Hopefully you're all doing well.